The hardest part is not watching her walk away. The hardest part is stopping yourself from running after her, because when a woman you love chooses distance, every instinct inside you starts fighting reality. You want to call, you want to explain, you want to remind her what the two of you had, you want to tell her she is making a mistake. You want one final conversation, one final chance, one perfect sentence that turns her around before the door closes. But if she has clearly chosen to leave, hold the door, not because you never cared, not because you are trying to look powerful, not because you want to punish her with silence. Hold the door because love that has to be chased after it has already chosen to leave will eventually cost you your dignity. And before this video ends, you will understand why allowing her to leave can reveal more truth than another 100 messages, why chasing usually pushes her further away, and what to do if she returns after experiencing life without you. But there's another truth you need to hear first. Holding the door does not guarantee she will come back. It does not guarantee regret. It does not guarantee that she will suddenly realize your value. The purpose is not to manipulate her return. The purpose is to stop abandoning yourself in an attempt to prevent someone else from leaving. That is where your power begins. A woman can choose to leave for many reasons. Maybe she lost attraction. Maybe the relationship became heavy. Maybe both of you repeated the same arguments without changing anything. Maybe she felt unseen. Maybe you made real mistakes. Maybe she became emotionally unavailable. Maybe she wants another life. Maybe someone else has her attention. Or maybe she cannot clearly explain why staying no longer feels right. You may never receive the answer that fully satisfies you. But when a person clearly chooses distance, their decision becomes information, painful information, incomplete information, but information you must respect. Most men do not respect it, they argue with it. She says she needs space, and he sends more messages. She says she is unsure, and he starts proving himself. She says she wants to leave, and he promises to become a different man overnight. She asks for distance, and he treats distance like an emergency. He believes he is fighting for love, but from her side, it often feels like he is refusing to hear her. This is the first reason you hold the door. Respect. You may disagree with her decision. You may believe she is acting emotionally. You may think the relationship can still be repaired, but she has the right to decide what she participates in, and you have the responsibility to decide how you will conduct yourself after that choice. A strong man does not force access. He does not turn love into pressure. He does not make someone responsible for calming the panic created by their departure. He says what he needs to say once, then he allows the decision to carry its own consequences. That is maturity. Suppose she tells you, I do not think this is working. The fearful man immediately says, no, we can fix it. Just give me one more chance. Tell me what to change. I will do anything. He thinks those words prove devotion. But listen to what they may communicate. I have no standards except keeping you. My identity depends on whether you stay. I will promise anything because I cannot handle losing you. That is not stable love. That is fear negotiating for access. And fear rarely creates attraction, it creates pressure. The grounded man listens. He asks one clear question. Is this something you want to work through together, or have you made your decision? That question creates truth. If she says she wants to work through it, both people can discuss what must change. If she says her decision is made, he does not spend the next 2 hours arguing against it. He may say, I care about you, and I do not agree with everything, but I respect your decision. I am not going to chase someone who has chosen to leave. Then he steps back. That sentence may hurt to say, but it prevents months of self betrayal. Because once someone has clearly left, every extra attempt can place you deeper inside the role of pursuer. You send another message, she gives a cold reply, you feel rejected, so you explain more, she creates more distance, you panic more. Soon you are no longer trying to repair a relationship, you are trying to stop the emotional pain of rejection. There is a difference. One is about building something together, the other is about using her response as medicine. If you contact her because you cannot tolerate the silence, you are not speaking from clarity. You are reaching for relief, and relief from her reply will never last. If she responds warmly, you will feel better for a few hours. Then you will wonder whether the warmth means she wants to return. If she responds coldly, the wound becomes deeper. If she ignores you, you feel humiliated. Every outcome keeps your peace dependent on her behavior. That is why you hold the door. You stop asking the person leaving to become the person who saves you from the pain of being left. You begin saving yourself. Now, holding the door does not mean pretending the relationship meant nothing. Some men respond to rejection by becoming cruel. They say, I never needed you. They insult her. They attack her appearance. They expose private information. They quickly post another woman. They try to make her jealous. They call this strength. It is not. It is pain trying to injure the person who triggered it. Real strength does not need revenge. You can admit that the loss hurts. You can acknowledge that you wanted the relationship. You can still refuse to beg. You can love someone and allow them to leave. You can feel deeply and remain in control of your behavior. That combination is emotional strength, not coldness control. There may be tears after she leaves. There may be nights when the room feels too quiet. There may be mornings when your first instinct is to check whether she contacted you. Strength does not mean those moments disappear. Strength means those moments do not decide your actions. You feel the urge. You do not automatically obey it. You miss her. You do not use missing her as a reason to cross a boundary. You remember the good moments. You do not erase the reality of why the relationship ended. You hope she thinks about you. You do not pause your life waiting for proof. That is how a man keeps his dignity. The second reason you let her leave is that chasing hides the truth. When you keep contacting her, you prevent yourself from discovering whether she would ever move towards you voluntarily. You start every conversation, you ask every question, you suggest every meeting, you repair every silence. Then you tell yourself the connection still exists. But does it? Or are you keeping the appearance of connection alive through constant effort? You cannot measure her investment while doing all the investing. When you step back, reality becomes visible. She has space to choose. She may miss you and reach out. She may reflect and ask to talk. She may recognize that leaving was a mistake, or she may stay gone. That final possibility hurts, but it is better than spending months forcing activity and calling it love. Silence does not create the truth. It reveals the truth you're chasing was hiding. That is why holding the door requires courage. You are not only risking losing her, you are risking discovering that she was willing to lose you. But if that is the reality, you need to know you cannot build a future with someone who has to be repeatedly convinced to participate. You cannot create mutual love through one sided persistence. You cannot spend your life auditioning for a position you already held. At some point, you must allow another person's actions to become an answer. Now, she may initially feel relief when you stop chasing. That is difficult for a heartbroken man to hear. He wants to imagine that the moment he disappears, she collapses emotionally. But if the final weeks were filled with arguments, questions, long messages, jealousy, or pressure, your absence may feel peaceful at first. Let it. Do not panic because she looks calm. Do not check her social media and decide her smile means you never mattered. Do not break your silence because she posted something happy. Social media does not show you a complete emotional life. A photograph does not reveal what happens after the phone is put down. A night out does not prove emotional closure, but it also does not prove hidden pain. Stop trying to diagnose her through a screen. You cannot rebuild yourself while studying every movement she makes. Her process belongs to her, your process belongs to you. And your process begins by accepting that immediate relief does not always mean permanent certainty. When pressure disappears, she may eventually begin separating the exhaustion of the ending from the actual memory of you. She may remember your humor, your patience, your support, the way you understood certain parts of her, the routines that once felt ordinary. She may notice the difference between receiving attention and being deeply known. She may realize that consistent care is easier to take for granted than to replace, or she may remember the conflict and believe leaving was still the right choice. You cannot control which conclusion she reaches. That is why silence must not be a strategy designed to produce one result. If you stay away only because you expect her to return, you are still chasing mentally. You are counting days, checking signs, waiting for the reward. That is not letting her leave. That is standing behind the door and hoping she turns around. Real acceptance says, I would listen if she returned with clarity, but I will not organize my life around the possibility. That is freedom. The third reason you hold the door is that consequences teach what explanations cannot. You may have told her repeatedly that the relationship felt one sided. You may have explained that her inconsistency was hurting you. You may have asked for more communication, but if you continued staying and overgiving, regardless of what happened, your behavior contradicted your words. You said you needed respect, then you accepted disrespect. You said you needed consistency, then you rewarded inconsistency with greater effort. You said you would step away, then you returned after one small message. People learn your standards by watching what you tolerate, not by listening to what you announce. This is not about teaching her a lesson as punishment. It is about allowing natural consequences. If she chooses a life without you, she must experience a life without your attention, support, loyalty, reassurance, and emotional availability. You do not remain in the background as backup. You do not become the man she calls after a disappointing date. You do not provide relationship level comfort while she refuses relationship level clarity. You do not stay emotionally committed while she explores life without commitment to you. That is not loyalty, that is self abandonment. Let her decision be real. If she wants to leave, she loses access to the role you played. Not because you hate her, because access requires mutual responsibility. This is where many men fail. She leaves, but she still messages when lonely. She says she does not want the relationship, but she wants friendship. She contacts him after a difficult day. She sends old memories. She tells him she misses him but remains unsure. The man accepts everything because he believes staying close will increase his chance of getting her back. But closeness without clarity can trap him for months. He becomes emotionally faithful to a woman who is not choosing him. He listens to her problems, he supports her, he remains available. Meanwhile, she receives comfort without having to decide. You become the waiting room. Do not do that if you still want a relationship. Do not pretend friendship is enough. Be honest. You can say, I respect you, but friendship is not healthy for me because I want something different. I need distance. That is not a threat. It is not manipulation. It is truth. You are not required to accept a smaller role because you are afraid of having no role at all. Sometimes having no access is what allows you to heal. Now, imagine she reaches out after 2 weeks. She says, I miss you. Your heart moves immediately. This is the sentence you hope to see. The old version of you replies, I miss you too. Can we fix this? I've been waiting. Slow down. Missing you does not automatically mean she wants to rebuild. A person can miss familiarity, comfort, attention, routine, physical closeness, a version of life. She can miss you and still be unable to offer a healthy relationship. Do not reject her harshly. Do not punish her, but ask for clarity. You can say, I miss parts of what we had too. What made you reach out? Let her speak. If she says, I do not know, I was just thinking about you, do not immediately turn that into reconciliation. You can have a respectful conversation, but do not hand back full emotional access. If she says, I think I made a mistake and want to talk about rebuilding, that is different. Even then, words are only the beginning. You need to understand what changed. Why does she believe the relationship can work now? What responsibility does she take? What would both of you do differently? Can the issues that ended the relationship actually be addressed, or is loneliness temporarily making the past look better? These questions are not designed to interrogate her. They protect both people from reconnecting through emotion and separating again through the same unresolved pattern. Because relief is powerful, the moment she returns, your pain may disappear. You may feel chosen again. And when relief enters, judgment often leaves. You want to believe everything. You want to restart immediately. You do not want to risk losing her twice. So you accept vague promises. Do not let relief move faster than evidence. Trust should grow at the speed of consistent behavior. If she genuinely wants to rebuild, she will understand why you are moving carefully. She will communicate. She will make effort. She will respect boundaries. She will continue showing up after she knows you still care. That last part matters. Some people return strongly when they fear losing access. Once they receive reassurance, their effort disappears. Do not measure change during panic. Measure change after security returns. Does she remain consistent when she no longer fears that the door will close? That is where the truth appears. Now, if she comes back only to test whether you are still waiting, your calmness will reveal it. She may send one small message. You respond warmly, but do not chase. She expects you to carry the conversation. You do not. She receives no emotional speech, no instant reassurance, no promise that you are still hers. If her interest disappears immediately, she may have been seeking validation rather than reconciliation. Do not become angry. Do not accuse her. Accept the information. She wanted to know the door was still open. You need someone willing to walk through it with clarity. Those are different things. Now, what if she leaves for someone else? This is where self respect becomes even more important. Do not compete. Do not insult him. Do not tell her he will never understand her like you do. Do not become the secret conversation while she gives another man public commitment. If she chose someone else, let the choice be complete. You do not provide emotional support in the background. You do not wait for their relationship to fail. You do not check whether they argued. You do not make another man's failure the foundation of your hope. Your value does not depend on him disappointing her. If she contacts you while involved with someone else, your boundaries should be clear. I respect you, but I will not be involved while you are with someone. That is enough. No triangle. No competition, no hidden role. If she ever wants to discuss rebuilding with you, she must first become genuinely available and clear about her decision. A man with standards does not stand in the shadows waiting to be selected. He stands in clarity or he walks away. Now, let us talk about the late night moment. During the day, you may feel certain. You tell yourself, she chose to leave. I accept it. Then midnight arrives, the room becomes quiet. You remember the beginning, the way she used to call, the way she looked at you, the promises, the private jokes, the plans that now feel like they belong to another life. You open her conversation, you type, I hope you're okay. It looks harmless, but beneath that message is a hidden request. Please tell me I still matter. Please tell me you regret leaving. Please stop this silence from feeling permanent. Ask yourself one question. Would I still send this if I knew she would not respond? If the answer is no, you are not communicating, you are seeking emotional medicine, and her reply cannot heal you permanently. If she responds warmly, you become hopeful before anything changes. If she responds coldly, your night becomes worse. If she does not respond, you feel rejected again. Do not exchange your dignity for temporary relief. Put the phone down, drink water, walk. Write what you want to say privately. Pray if faith is part of your life. Just leave before deciding. An emotion can be real without becoming an instruction. You can miss her without contacting her. You can love her without chasing. You can regret your mistakes without repeatedly begging for another chance. You can feel lonely without returning to a situation where you were not being chosen. That is emotional control. Now, if you made serious mistakes, holding the door does not mean avoiding accountability. You should own what you did. Maybe you became controlling. Maybe you stopped appreciating her. Maybe you became emotionally unavailable. Maybe you lied. Maybe you ignored repeated concerns until she became exhausted. Self respect is not pretending you were perfect. A man can apologize sincerely. I understand where I hurt you. I take responsibility, and I am working on changing that, whether we reconcile or not. Then stop. Do not turn apology into pressure. Do not say, I apologized, so now you owe me another chance. An apology is accountability, not a payment for access. She may accept it and still leave. You have to respect that. Real change is not proven by the promise you make while panicking. It is proven by the man you become after the outcome is no longer under your control. Do you continue improving if she never sees it? Do you build discipline when there is no chance to impress her? Do you correct the behavior because it was wrong or only because you want the relationship back? That is the test. Growth performed for her return remains dependent on her. Growth that belongs to you changes your future. Now, here is your 7 day reset. For 7 days, do not contact her from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends what she is doing. Do not reread all messages after midnight. Do not post something designed to make her jealous. Do not investigate whether someone else is involved. Do not make emotional decisions when you are exhausted, angry, or lonely. Put that energy into your body, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and identity. Train consistently, eat properly, clean your space. Complete one task you have delayed, set one financial goal. Reduce your screen time, put the phone away before sleeping, plan tomorrow before the memories plan it for you. This reset is not designed to make her wonder where you went. It is designed to show you how much of your life has been organized around stopping her from leaving Every time you resist checking, you rebuild control. Every time you avoid a panic message, you rebuild dignity. Every time you keep your routine while hurting, you rebuild self trust. Confidence is not believing she will return. Confidence is knowing that you can handle it if she does not. That is the confidence you need now. Not confidence built through her approval, confidence built through your own behavior. You said you would stop begging. Keep that promise. You said you would respect her choice. Keep that promise. You said you would rebuild your life. Keep that promise. A man becomes trustworthy to himself when his actions remain stable under emotional pressure. That self trust will change every future relationship. Now rebuild your body, not as revenge. Not so she sees your transformation and regrets leaving. Train because your health needs you. Walk because your mind needs movement. Sleep because emotional exhaustion creates desperate decisions. Eat properly because pain becomes heavier in a neglected body. Rebuild your money and work. Heartbreak can consume hours that should be building your future. Rest turn to the project. Learn the skill. Organize your finances. Dock Quaid a target. Money will not replace love, but direction will stop the loss from becoming your entire identity. Rebuild your routine. Do not wake up and immediately check whether she contacted you. Let the first part of the morning belong to you. Me pop plan. Work, ride, pray, talk great before you consume information about her. Rebuild your friendships. Rebuild the parts of your identity that disappeared while the relationship became your whole world. A man with no life outside a woman experiences her departure as the death of everything. A man with purpose still feels the loss, but he has somewhere to place the pain. He builds. Now rebuild your standards. Ask what you ignored because you were afraid to lose her. Repeated disrespect, one sided effort, emotional unavailability, threats of leaving during every conflict, camp-sailed plans without accountability, mixed signals, your own controlling behavior, poor communication from both sides. Do not use standards to blame her for everything. Examine yourself honestly. What will you never accept again? What will you never do again? A breakup becomes valuable only when the lesson changes your behavior. Otherwise, the pain repeats with a different face. Now, what if she never returns? You must become strong enough to accept that. She may remain gone. She may decide that leaving was right. She may build a different life. She may remember you warmly and never contact you. Holding the door must survive this possibility. Otherwise, it is not acceptance, it is a strategy. You are saying, I will let you leave because I believe you will come back. That is still waiting. Real acceptance says, I hope the future becomes clear, but I will not freeze my life around one outcome. If she never returns, your value remains. Her decision is information about one relationship, not a final judgment on your worth as a man. You still have goals, responsibilities, people who care about you, skills you have not developed, places you have not seen. A future that existed before her and continues after her. Do not bury all of it beneath one closed door. You do not honor love by destroying your life after it ends. You honor it by learning, by growing, by carrying forward what was good and correcting what was harmful. You can grieve without living permanently inside grief. You can remember without returning. You can forgive without reopening the relationship. You can wish her well without making yourself available. That is maturity. Now, ask yourself the hardest question. Do you want her back because the relationship was genuinely healthy and mutual? Or do you want her back because her return would reverse the rejection? Do you miss her character? Or do you miss being chosen by her? Would you still want the relationship if she returned with the exact same behavior? Or are you imagining a changed version of her who has never appeared? Sometimes a man does not want love. He wants victory. He wants her to return and say she was wrong. He wants the person who rejected him to restore his confidence. But confidence borrowed from someone's attention disappears when their attention changes again. You need confidence she cannot give and cannot remove. Confidence built through discipline, through accountability, through boundaries, through accepting painful reality without losing your character. That is freedom. Do not become bitter. Do not decide all women leave when things become difficult. Do not punish the next woman for this woman's choice. Do not become emotionally unavailable and call it masculine strength. That is not power. That is pain wearing armor. A mature man remains capable of love, but his love now has standards. He can be generous without being easy to use. He can be patient without waiting forever. He can communicate without begging. He can apologize without humiliating himself. He can fight for a relationship when both people are fighting for it. And he can let go when he is fighting alone. That balance is strength. So if she chose to leave, hold the door. Do not block the exit with another argument. Do not chase her down the road with another promise. Do not demand that she understand your value. Do not try to force regret. Let her decision become real. Let her experience life without your presence. Let yourself experience life without chasing someone who is leaving. If she returns with clarity, listen. If she takes responsibility, observe consistency. If she returns only for comfort, protect your access. If she remains confused, stay back. If she chooses someone else, refuse the triangle. If she never returns, continue building, because the deepest truth is this: a man does not prove his love by stopping a woman who has clearly decided to leave. He proves his character by respecting her freedom without surrendering his dignity. Hold the door, not because losing her is easy, because losing yourself trying to stop her would cost far more. And in the next video, you will learn the difference between a woman who returns because she genuinely understands what she lost and one who only returns because life outside the relationship did not give her the comfort she expected.